Okay, so today we're going to be interviewing AzFlin. He's a very reputable dev in the space. Previously founded daosdotworld, which was very successful during the AI season, and he's now building a very cool crypto agent-enabled game that we'll be talking to him about today. And you should see on screen where his picture is basically like a live stream of the game that he's recording and we have on screen. Hope you enjoy. All right, guys, welcome back to Vibe Trading. Today I have on AzFlin, who has been building some pretty cool, I guess I would call them agent and crypto-enabled games. I've been getting a lot of traders on, but it's good to get someone on who's doing something a bit different. Welcome to the show, AzFlin. Maybe give us a little background about yourself and what you've been building for those who aren't aware.
Yeah, thank you, Nico. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here. So to give me a little bit of background on myself, I've been in crypto since 2021. I am a software engineer by trade. So I was coding before the whole vibe coding craze. I've been coding for over 10 years. I started off actually as a developer in TradFi, so just doing like really like standard like Python, SQL, like boring TradFi stuff. In 2021, I stumbled upon, I think it was NFTs that first got me into it. There was an NFT collection that did like a little hackathon. And I signed up for that hackathon, made like a little front end app. And then the founder of Genie, Scott, found me from this hackathon, gave me a job at his startup called Genie, which is the first NFT aggregator. And that was like my first entry into crypto. And since then, I've been building as a dev, but also been degenning. I'm not like a huge, super big trader like some of the other guys on this show who like do a lot of like perps and shit coins. I do that sometimes, but mainly I'll trade less frequently. I like to yield farm when that was a thing. But just in general, like keeping track of the degen space, do some degen stuff here and there, and building. And I founded daosdotworld last year, which had a big run during the whole AI DAOs craze. And recently, I've been really deep into building games. So the game that I recently made on base was called Dota.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, A16Z was obviously one of the biggest AI season tokens that went to like, it was like 2 billion or something like that, if I remember, two and a half.
Yeah, crazy.
Maybe tell guys who don't know what daos.world actually was, because obviously it was like built within the A16Z Shore sort of ecosystem.
Yeah, so to give you a quick intro on DAO's world, it is a DAO launchpad on Base and Solana. It was inspired by daos.fun. For those who don't know, like in about late 2024, daos.fun came on the scene as like a DAO launchpad. It was basically just a pre-sale, and then the pre-sale funds were used to run the DAO, and the DAO would like collectively agree to invest in like stuff for the DAO. And that went super viral because AI16Z came on board, and P Marka, the founder of A16Z, gave it some support and clout on Twitter. And they had built in, I want to say, like kind of like the first like agentic like bot platform that could post on X for you, post on Discord for you. So people really loved that. Like that spawned the whole first wave of like social AI agents that anyone could make. So they were popping off like crazy. And then maybe like 3 or 4 months after they launched, my friend was like, yo, let's make a DAO's fun fork on base. Initially, I brushed it off. I'm like, I forget. I had some excuses or some reasons. I'm like a super skeptical person by nature. I usually like don't like to, I usually think ideas are bad. But after like a week thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, why has nobody like forked this on base? Like this is, you may as well. So we in about, I want to say like a month, we got like a good prototype MVP. And then just by, I think, virtue of like being in the right place at the right time, and like at that point, base was like kind of just, I wouldn't say just starting, but more in its infancy, more of its beginning stages. And they were just like looking for, Jesse especially was just like looking for people to come on board and establish them as a more degen brand. So yeah, right place, right time. And then Dow's World came and like really popped off. We had like a couple of coins go to like 20, 30 mil. Again, AI DAOs, everything's in this space that, for better or for worse, is like really narrative based. And that was the right narrative at the right time.
And I guess the fact that that was on base probably also partially influenced why Defense of the Agents, which is, I'm sure we'll talk about more now, like the game you're currently building, is on base as well. Maybe also, good place to start would be, why did you actually decide to start building games? Like where is this newfound interest and passion for building games come from?
Yeah, so I've always been a gamer my whole life. I mean, recently, the past few years, I've been busy. I haven't been to play games, but like as a kid, my favorite genre of games was like the more serious, strategic, competitive PvP games. So a lot of Blizzard games, StarCraft 2, World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, like RuneScape, Hearthstone, like whatever like fantasy themed, like serious, sweaty game with PvP. I really liked it. So that was kind of my thing. Always been a gamer, and recently with these new models coming on board, it has become like literally 10 to 100x easier building games. Building games is not easy. It's much harder, in my opinion, than building like some simple CRUD app. Like you have to deal with so much more shit, but these models recently, it just made it so much easier and faster. So somebody with like zero game dev experience can come in and start making games. So yeah, I guess that's where I got the, just the inspiration to start building games, because I realized how much easier it got, and I figured, you know, why not take a stab at it and make something fun and casual.
Yeah, and I think you're probably in like a rare camp of crypto guys who also are like building games. And like obviously we know that gaming in crypto has always been a bit of a taboo topic since like, 1 or 2 cycles ago when, things had crazy valuations and ended up like flopping. But how are you kind of seeing the way that like crypto is built into Defense of the Agents and maybe any future games that you're working on, and plans of how to integrate that further going forward?
Yeah, yeah. Crypto gaming has been quite taboo, for the reasons that you've said before. Just a lot of extraction, a lot of broken promises. Like 2021 saw like a lot of games raise insane amounts of money and built basically nothing. So it's, soured a lot crypto gaming for a lot of people. But I think some time has passed. Some stuff has happened, advances in technology, etc., and we can move on into kind of a different narrative and paradigm in crypto gaming. So the first point I want to make is Web 2 gaming is very different than crypto gaming for several reasons. Web 2 gamers, they're all about just playing a fun game. That's the most important thing. And I mean, that should be obvious. In Web 3 gaming, it was a little different. I guess like the first fundamental is, how do we play to earn? How do we make money? And that led to 2021. A lot of scams, a lot of like just pumping the shit coin, a lot of these fake artificial Ponzi's where the game's not even fun, but people are forcing themselves to play just to try to make some money. So now I think like we obviously still like need that, or at least some of that, right? Some type of like play to earn, or some type of like financialization of games, but it's got to be more toned down. It's got to be fun gameplay has to come first, you know. So that brings me to how crypto is involved with Defense of the Agents. It was a stealth launch, fair launch, where on Clanker, so 100% of the supply is out there. It's not like one of those like Ponzi games where we're like constantly emitting tokens. I wanted to keep it this way just to keep it simple, and to have the Dota token as in-game utility for the game. So right now it'll give you some buffs. Can you see my screen right now, by the way?
Yes, I can
Like,
see the game.
if you see, yeah, if you see here, there's a little star underneath my hero. Not every hero has a star. This guy has a star. Uh,
And that's like
oh,
a
it seems like
power up
most people have
from
stars.
holding the token.
It's basically, oh, this one has a circle. If you hold the token, yeah, you'll have a little star underneath you, and you have plus 10% base stats. And it'll say Dota holder. Oh, it's cut off. There, and holding the Dota token reduces your respawn time. So I want this.
Very
I want
cool.
the Dota token to basically give like some small like plus EV buffs to people while still not making the game pay to win. Right. I want free to play players to still have a chance. So that was like the very first, utility that Dota gave. Um, so I'll leave it at that for now. But I want to talk about this armory thing after, which will also involve tokens.
Yeah, and I think maybe one thing I would just say, like, I used to be a very big gamer, but one of the reasons I stopped playing games was just because, I wanted to start maxing out in real life and not just in the virtual world, right? And so I think like
Facts.
many people nowadays who have that like same feeling about video games where they love games, but unfortunately we don't make money playing games, unless you're maybe a streamer or a content creator or a pro. And so when it comes to playing games nowadays, it's like, how can I play a game, but it actually not take up any of my time or detract from the maybe we'll say arguably more meaningful things in the real world,
It's
right? And so I think it's actually very interesting what you're doing here because it's a game that you can actually play via an agent. So you can have your, OpenClaw or whatever agent play on your behalf, considering that it's like, a very
mm,
simple tap game at the end of the day. And so it's like, of course this is maybe from a graphics perspective and like complexity standpoint, it's maybe on the simpler side to begin with, but I think it's like a good proof of concept of like what can be done with, between crypto and also like an agent played game because people are now probably shifting more towards, like I said, games being played as like agent versus agent or player
mhm.
versus agent, etc.
A good point. Like I didn't even bring up the AI stuff because like people are like humans are like seriously playing this game like competitively. So I've literally just been like catering to them. I've been like trying to get balance changes and like patches and shit to make the game more favorable, to make the game more enjoyable to them. But actually the original inspiration for this game was a game to be played by only by AI agents. This game can be played entirely by API. And from first principles, I wanted this game to be, be able to play it easily and well programmatically, so agents could play. So agents, yeah, do play, right? But it's it's just like humans are playing the game even more than agents. So I'm like catering to them now, which I guess is a good thing, right? It's building a fun game first. Um, but to speak about, your prior points, like two things. One, it's like, yeah, everyone's trying to like hustle and grind nowadays. Not everyone, but a lot of the people on X. So like it's kind of hard for people to play games. And I do think people should like chill out more, to be honest, and like play games once in a while. So that's what I want to do. Uh, and secondly, to speak about, yeah, AI agents in gaming, that's another big narrative, floating around nowadays. My take on it is like I'm not that super sold on it. Like I don't think watching your AI agent play a game is fun. I think playing a game yourself is fun. But if there is I think the golden grail is if there's somebody can make some game where you can kind of play idly or instruct your AI agent to play, and then your AI agent like somehow makes money. Just like it's obviously like gonna be super hard to think of some system where this works. I think that is a really strong narrative and could interest a lot of people.
I think my take on it personally would be for the similar argument I gave before about wanting to max out stuff. Like a lot of the guys I know in crypto who are actually the most successful were hardcore and very high level gamers before they were in crypto. And so I think the trait is that less
Mm,
that they just like playing video games and more so that they like grinding things out, being high level, being the best in something. And so,
mm,
like, if you play games for that reason, because actually at that point it's more about demonstrating skill and basically building like status within the game, right? Then in that case, having an agent play for you, if it means that you can then flex that you're a high level in the game because your agent grinded it for you, now that is actually interesting. And like in an era where I think like a lot of games are trending towards being like shorter and like higher dopamine. For example, like, you know, back in the day, we all played Clash of Clans, and you had to like wait a week for your like, you know, town hall to get upgraded to like the 8th level or whatever it is. Whereas now, all the kids play Clash Royale, which is like, you know, a very quick turn-based like 5-minute game that you play, and like everyone has their clans. Or for example, Fortnite, where maybe it's slightly longer, but again, it's like there's a big like social status aspect. And so, you know, yes, there is playing the game yourself side, but I think that's also why an agent side where it ranks up for you is actually very interesting.
Yeah, that's bang on about the social flexing. That's probably why I liked like a lot of these competitive PvP games, just to say like, I'm better than you, I have a better rank than you. You know, that's why people grind League of Legends and unrelated games so hard. Uh, I will say one thing about like the AI agents playing games and stuff, right? A lot of people really don't give this like too much thought, but like LLMs themselves are not good at playing games. They're too slow, you know. Unless it's some like whatever, like long strategy game or something. But LLMs, like you have to wait a few seconds, and you have to feed it text, and the output is text, right? You know, the best AI agent gamers are not like AI agents, but it's just scripts. It's just like a big long loop of if statements that play these games. And actually, there's some like really good botters in my game. I don't know if any are playing now, but and then they're not even using LLMs. Like I think they're just using a whole bunch of like if statements, and it's a lot of like manual thinking about you know how I should do this or when to do this, just from experience of playing the game.
I think also last thing I'll say on this topic, complete counter argument is if AI is going to take over all of our jobs, there is actually nothing left to do than just play video games.
Collect UBI in game. Yeah, that sounds good. I know I know a lot of people that would like that.
Maybe also let's talk about, you know, current traction on, you know, Defense of the Agents, which is obviously the biggest and most popular game that you have made. And today I saw a tweet from Shaw saying that he managed to get his Milady agent playing the game and stuff. I'm assuming, I'm sure you know him from the daosdotworld stuff, but like I think that's still a pretty big thing. And I think I saw Tempo was promoting your previous POTA game and stuff like that. How's the reception been from, I guess, CT, maybe outside of CT, and any numbers that you can share about, you know, current player base and playtime?
Yeah, so yeah, the traction. So we've been out for like 8 days. I think the total, like to track everything in my database, the total number of agents plus humans that have played is around 3,000. About 600 humans have connected their wallet. But even more than that, like I think the biggest testament is like just a hardcore group of like people that keep playing over and over and over again. In game one, it's humans only, and people. All games in here are ranked, so there's like a leaderboard, right? Uh, I have like these like top people. Like, look at how many games they've played, right? These are all like humans playing like for MMR, like sweating it out. So I think that's the biggest testament to like you know the traction that how this game is getting, and it really inspires me to like keep iterating and building on this game. But yeah, in general, no, it's been very validating. It feels great. Now I know it's like I can make games. I can make a good game. I have the ability to do so, to think of an enjoyable game loop, right? So that's always going to carry me forward.
And, you know, I'm sure from, you know, being a developer for years and being in crypto for years from daos.world, like you've probably made good money. So I assume that, you know, you're not really building this for the money. But I'm sure as you are putting a lot of time and effort into it, eventually, like, you know, you will want to kind of like monetize this in some way, or future games. Like, how are you thinking about that in the future? Or, you know, is there some sort of like protocol fee element kind of like mixed into the Dota token or the current game?
Um, well, I still care about money. you know, But for the Dota token, I one of the main revenue sources, like of course, is like the fee on the Clanker token. So I get 1% of all the trading fees, right? So that's always gonna like incentivize me to keep like building on this game. But another thing I want to consider is I think I have a really fun game here, so I might want to take a crack at like converting it to an iOS game and then really going for like the golden grail, which is like the Web2 gaming audience, right? I'm not sure like how much that'll like work into the existing crypto token, or I'll have to like reskin and redo some stuff. But I think I really want to take a stab at that. Yeah, but I'll always be like around in like crypto, just like doing like degen shit and like finding opportunities where I can.
Yeah, I mean, like crypto is like Hotel California or whatever they call it. Like, you never truly leave. Um, how have like
CT
the
is just too fun. Yeah, you
Yeah, it's
can't
too
leave
fun.
CT.
It's too stimulating. Like it's like a 10x simulator of the real world. I think even when you make enough money to call it quits, like you still just want to like kind of be a part of it. Like I met most of
Yeah,
my current friends from CT, and like I get to hang out with them across the world. So like it's always good fun. Um,
yeah.
how has the reception been from? I'm interested, like the base ecosystem themselves, because they must be pretty interested when a game is actually like a real game that has like a crypto enabled element on their chain is getting like this kind of traction and interest.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd say yeah, the base team has definitely shown me some love. Like Jesse's like retweeted, like they know about this, but even more so is like the Farcaster team has really like loved this. And the Farcaster founders really love this. Like if you notice right now, I'm playing on Farcaster. I don't know if you can tell on the screen, right? It's like here, I can put it down. The cool thing about Farcaster, I don't know if you're familiar with the ecosystem, but they have this mini app system. So like, look, I'm scrolling the
No, I
feed,
didn't even know this
scrolling
was
the feed.
via Farcaster. This is sick.
So you're scrolling the feed, scrolling the feed, scrolling the feed. Then you see the game's minimized, right? Pop open the game, play a bit, play a bit, play a bit, and then minimize. And then so yeah, I think the Farcaster guys really showed a lot of love. Like they were promoting me and shit. And on a second note, I know like a lot of people really don't know too much about Farcaster. They've been sleeping in on stuff, but the mini app ecosystem that they have is really cool and it's really easy to integrate.
It's separate from the. Didn't they also release like a base app that kind of like tried to do a similar thing with like mini apps and stuff?
Yeah, that was a whole like shit show. They released based app, which originally supported Farcaster mini app. So if you made a Farcaster mini app, it would natively show up on the base app. But something like a month ago, they took that down. So yeah, this game's only on Farcaster and not a base app. But I'll probably integrate base app at one point, assuming it's not hard.
Are there any other cool kind of like either crypto AI or both enabled games that you have seen that are on your radar that maybe you think are cool people should check out as well by other developers maybe?
Yeah.
The one I can think of top of
Honestly,
mind I saw very recently was Pixie Chess, which I thought was very cool.
oh yeah. Um, yeah, Pixie Chess seems cool. Pixie Chess, like they really put a lot of effort, into that and a lot of time into that, and they're just trying to crack like a really big market. So, good luck to them. Oh, one thing, the Axie MMO. Um, I saw there's been a lot of like I think they're in private play tests right now, but it's an MMORPG using the Axie IP. You control like a team. You don't control one hero. You control a team of like five axes. It's the typical like third person MMORPG view. The art looks super cute. So I do want to try that. And I think, obviously Axie crushed it last cycle. If we can get some of that momentum and next cycle, that'd be pretty good. But in general, I don't know. I don't think I haven't been seeing a lot. Maybe I'm not paying enough attention, but I haven't been seeing too much like cool Web3 gaming shit. And also like the narrative is completely dead and or everyone's so like narrative focused, whatever. So like I know like VCs aren't really funding games anymore. It's just like I think it's like a lot of like independent guys. I think like the Web 2 like AI gaming indie scene is way bigger, and I follow a bit of that on X, and like those guys are cool to track. But yeah, it would be nice to like see more, Web 3 guys start building indie games.
Yeah, I was actually thinking earlier of a point, which is that I watched a video recently about like the rise of Flash games back in the day and what was kind of like made possible by that. And I would say that I could see there being a world where now with vibe coding, same as everyone's building all these different apps and everything, people are also going to start building games given how much easier it is. And so we might see a whole new generation of very interesting games just because of the like proliferation of people's ideas and how
Yeah.
easy it is for them to turn them into a reality now. I definitely think we're going to see like some pretty interesting things on the gaming side. Plus, with everything we said before about how UBI and you're going to have nothing left to do but just play games these days when AI takes your work.
It's funny because like yeah, those Flash games like Miniclip, Newgrounds, Neopets, etc. It's like there are so many good games there, and so many people playing. And back then, it was 100 times harder to code
Oh,
games. Like
bro,
it's serious work.
100, 200 times harder, bro. I can't even imagine how
So
hard it was.
it's like we should like on paper theoretically like yeah we have the ability to build a whole bunch of dope shit, but I one part of it is like CT is like really lazy. Like we just want to trade. We just want like 100x or whatever. So and making a game even with AI nowadays, even when it's easier, it's still not easy. Like it's still like a lot of work you have to put in. So I don't know. We'll see if people do it or not.
Yeah, I mean, from a perspective of even outside of CT when it comes to people building games, but we'll have to see how it goes. Any kind of like closing remarks or things you want to direct people to?
Yeah, closing remarks. I mean, check out the game defenseoftheagents.com. Like you don't even need to play. If you go to the site, it'll drop you right into spectator view so you can spectate. I think I have built like a pretty good foundation for this right now. The coin is on base. You can trade it on any trading terminal. But this now, one last thing I want to say. I built out this armory, which is kind of like an NFT cosmetics like equipment store, right? So this was the first NFT that you can buy Space Marine. You can buy it for about $10, 0.005 ETH, and that'll give you the Space Marine skin for the Archer. So this I'm glad I finally built this infra, so now I can like add a whole bunch of like shit here that people could buy, and then the proceeds of the mints will go back towards the Dota ecosystem, buying Dota, rewarding the top players, etc. So yeah, check it out, guys.
Yeah, very cool. I actually funny you said that because I literally just saw that skin after playing 1 or 2 rounds before starting this interview. But yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, this was a lot of fun. I hope people, got a bit of an insight into what it's like to build a Web3 AI-enabled game. And I'll leave a link to all your stuff, and they can go check it out. But thank you very much for coming on, AzFlin. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Nico. Take care.